to Heavenly Nosh. It's been a while since I filmed. In fact, the first series were 10 episodes, and we filmed them a year ago. So this is me. I've moved continents since then, and I'm starting again. I don't have my amazing film crew, sadly. So it's just in my house this time. I'm in beautiful New Zealand. And this is going to be a very short set of episodes. And so I'm going to do just food recipes. And it's going to be cheats and some basics and just really helpful advice and just short recipes. I am starting another project that's going to be looking at a gastronomic tour of the Bible. So we're going to eat our way through the Bible, but that's coming next. So for this first one, I thought it would be cool to go through making a cup of tea. I wanted to keep it easy, and partly because I'm teaching myself how to edit, so this is going to be my first editing. So here we are, we're going to make a cup of tea. I'm English, obviously, so tea is very important to the English psyche, and it's also important to many other cultures, India and China, a lot of Southeast Asia. The English have loved drinking tea for hundreds of years. And in today's world, I think you're probably quite familiar with the tea bag, the good old-fashioned tea bag. And tea bags are great when you're in a rush and you're wanting to make a quick cup of tea. But like most things in life, the better things are most enjoyed when you take your time and you do it properly. And so I'm going to make a cup of tea with a tea bag, and we're just going to pour it in there and let it go. This is actually quite a strong one. I won't go into brands, but this one, if you look at it, it's got actually a lot of tea in it. So I quite like that. I like my tea to be strong. I've got to put that one aside. And really with a tea bag, quite often people will do it real quick. You want to let it brew for a couple of minutes if you can in the cup. But I don't drink tea in a tea bag if I can help it. I like loose tea. And there are loads of health benefits to tea. In fact, there's all kinds of benefits from heart health. There are statistics, some research that say that drinking tea regularly is good for heart health, resistance against strokes, cardiovascular disease. Apparently it's good for well-being, it's good for your skin, it's good for your teeth. There's all kinds of things that have lots of beneficial, good for your digestive system. One of them says it's good for weight loss, and I'm not sure about that. However, if you're really hungry and you're on a diet, instead of having a snack, have a cup of tea. One of the things I really like about the English is that in any kind of crisis, we have a cup of tea. So the world might be falling apart, and an English person say, let's have a cup of tea. And it does seem to smooth over all kinds of problems. I think it's a great way that people come together. And when people come into an English household, the first thing that you'll be asked is, would you like a cup of tea? And it's quite rude to say no. And actually, when if I have friends that say, no, sorry, I don't drink tea, or I don't drink coffee, I'm a little bit wary of them. That's a cultural moment, but if they say I don't like tea or coffee, I'm not sure what might be wrong with them, but please don't put lots of comments. So this is a tea caddy, and it keeps your tea fresh. It's quite an old English thing, and it's got a double canister. In there is my special teaspoon. In here I've got Assam tea. If you can see it, it's quite fine. This is kind of similar to the stuff that you get in tea bags. And I've got a beautiful teapot here. I love this teapot, it's my baby. And the general rule is 1 teaspoon of tea per person and 1 for the pot. It's kind of an old-fashioned English saying, but it seems to work. So I'm going to do 2 teaspoons, and I'm actually going to put a 3rd teaspoon in. So this was Assam. I like to blend my tea and muck around. So this is Darjeeling. Darjeeling is a different type of tea. It's in the same tea family, just a different type of leaf. It's much more perfumed. And if you look at this one, that's a little bit more kind of chunky, whole leaves. Assam tends to fall apart. They are different parts of around the world. So Darjeeling is up in the Himalayan mountains. I've actually been to Darjeeling and picked tea in a tea field up there at the mountains. I felt very special. Darjeeling is quite perfuming, and I don't like it on its own, but like 2/3 Assam, 1/3 Darjeeling is a great mix. There's something about making it from scratch. Your hot water should be just off the boil. I like making things from scratch. I think that it's really beautiful, and I think it's part of wellness and kind of social health or emotional health. To take time to do it properly, you have to stop. You can't be in a rush. You should enjoy it, enjoy the process. Get yourself a nice. This is a teapot from the 1930s. Get a proper teapot, silver plated. I got it in a. My mum bought it for me. It was a tenner, so not expensive, but really beautiful. I think of my mum when I see it. But it's a nice teapot. You have to have a strainer with loose tea. So this is a strainer, and basically it's going to go onto my mug. And you put the strainer on top of the mug, and you pour your tea in, and it stops the leaves going in. And again, there's something about it that just feels, well, it's like a ceremony. If you think about the Chinese, the Koreans, the Japanese, they like tea ceremony. It's important. It's something that you enjoy, and it's a process that you enjoy, but it's something that you do with other people. It's calming, it's relaxing, it's good for you. And I think in today's busy world, we should take the time to stop and enjoy the process. I'm not going to touch too much on other teas here. But I thought I'd talk about a few. This is chamomile, and I picked this myself, and because chamomile is a weed in England, in a lot of kind of colder climates, and you can pick it anywhere. You want the yellow flower, just the flower, and I spent half an hour just picking it in a field somewhere, and I actually picked some jasmine as well and mixed it together, a bit poncy, but it actually made a really nice mix, and we'll make some. I've got a different type of teapot here. This is a ceramic one, but it's got one of these built in. These are actually quite useful because it means that you don't need a tea strainer. So I'm going to put a little bit of my chamomile. As I'm getting older, I can't drink tea too late at night. Now, tea apparently has half the amount of caffeine as coffee, so you can kind of get away with it in the evening, but I've found that anything past about 8 o'clock, I can't really drink it. So I've started drinking chamomile in the evening, and I like it. A little bit of honey in it. It sounds, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I kind of like it. It's nice, and it's good for you. The healthiest tea to drink is green tea. Green tea is amazing. Get older green tea. Jasmine tea with green tea is a beautiful one. But green tea has got all kinds of antioxidants. Most teas have antioxidants, but green tea is like packed with them. Really, really healthy. Get into drinking that. Put your milk into the cup first. There's lots of science to go. Do you put milk in last or first? Or when you're using a tea bag, you stick the milk in at the end. But when you're pouring with your teapot, put tea in first. Okay, and again, maybe part of the process. So again, I'm needing to brew it. I think it's probably good to give your tea a mix in the teapot after a minute or so, just to let it kind of again get the strength out. But we're nearly ready on that. And my tea over here is just about ready. Okay, so it's made it strong enough, and I think the real thing with a tea bag is just leave it in long enough that actually you're going to get some strength out of it. In England, we call it builder's tea. I like it strong. I want my cup of tea to punch me in the face with flavour. I don't like it weak. It's nice. This one's from Kenya. It's a good Assam. It's a nice cup of tea, but this is the process, okay? Imagine playing some beautiful classical music, some Bach, something like that. And you're sitting down quietly. You've lit a candle. Maybe you don't like candle, but it depends what it is. And you're pouring your tea. And even that process of pouring it through a strainer is very pleasing. And I'm kind of, and you might laugh and think I'm going over the top, but actually, this whole thing is just good for mental well-being. It's so nice to make a cup of tea properly, in the way that people have done it for hundreds of thousands of years. It tastes so much better. It's so much better than a tea bag. When you go over to loose tea, it's dangerous because you can never go back. You realise tea bags are kind of instant. It's like instant coffee. It's okay, but it doesn't really tick the box. And the flavour in loose tea is amazing. I've got another cup here for my chamomile. We'll see how that's coming out. Probably not steeped long enough. This is a much weaker tea. Again, very, very good for you. The thing with chamomile is that chamomile helps you go to sleep. So drinking a cup of chamomile before bed is great for just slowing down and going to bed. So thanks for coming. If you like this, subscribe, like, share it with your friends, and go and have a cup of tea and enjoy yourself.